I mean, it looks like Chelsea stepped it up, but this young man, academy product, Tyreek George, what a sensational strike that is. Technique, head over the ball, beautifully cleanly struck, off the post and in, and you say game on.
In the second half, a player that moved to Chelsea to play in the Champions League didn't get the Champions League shout initially, but he's getting the Carabao Cup shout, and that's Facundo Buonanotte. And he just has that desire that makes the big difference to get his first goal for Chelsea of the season.
Game ended 2-1 there. Enzo Maresca clapping the fans after the game, but it was a tale of two halves. So Chelsea went into the second half 1-0 down, but they were able to quickly pull it back. In the second half, they had 2 goals, 11 shots compared to the 3 in the first. Four of those shots were on target and had 8 chances created. A huge difference in between the two halves there. Grella, was this second half obviously a lot more convincing for Chelsea?
Yeah, it was, and it's credit to Maresca and the group because, again, at the end of the first half, they were dominated in every facet of the game. They didn't compete. They didn't understand what the game was calling for. Different games call for different things. This game didn't call for passes across the back. It didn't call for build-up play. It didn't call for Maresca trying to figure out how he wants to play around them. This game called for competing, called for balls in the air, picking up the second pieces. It called for going fast quickly on set pieces and stuff like that. And so in the second half, they changed that. I do think they're a little bit fortunate with the George strike because at times when you're down against a team that's lesser of you and they bunker in back there, it becomes really difficult to find space. So you need either crosses or a strike from distance. And George came up with a big quality in the right moment. And then once they were back in the game leveled out again. And Chelsea were always going to find a way to overrun Lincoln. But Lincoln had a lot of chances in that game. They put a lot of balls in the box. And Chelsea were asked to defend situations that on a regular weekend against Premier League sides, against sides that have more quality, they're usually not put in, right? A lot of awkward passes and balls bouncing across their face to their goal. And Lincoln, unfortunate not to get something out of the game.
You have to compete and fight. In games like this, the first thing you have to do is compete with these teams you're playing against because they're not better football players than you. But one thing that they can do and match you is by competing and finding second balls and being rough and making it difficult for you. So there's an element when you get these Premier League sides sometimes because they're so used to being treated with so much love and respect that they get to play, you play, we play. In this level, it's not like that. You got to fight for the 90 minutes. There's an arrogance that comes with some of these top sides. And until you match that fighting spirit when you play these lower league sides, because you already know you're the better football player. So once we get it down on the ground and start passing, we'll make things happen. But you've got to match the fight and the competitiveness first. That's what they didn't do in the first half. Lincoln still never made it easy for them. The quality of Chelsea shined through at the end of the game. But eventually, you have to match that first. You have to fight them. You have to be willing to say, yes, I'm a good player, but I'm going to fight against you. I'm going to give it to you. We can go tackle for tackle, head for head. And eventually, I'm going to grind you down, and my quality will shine through at the end. And that's the mistake that some of these sides make.
Do you think that's what Enzo Maresca said then at half-time?
He probably said a lot worse. Yeah. He used a lot of profanity in Italian that Grella could probably add to, and they definitely had the hairdryer treatment because the second half, they came out a lot.
Hairdryer treatment?
When you're getting shouted at and then your hair, if I had hair, you'd know it would be going out.
Talk about hairdryer treatment. I'm shocked that we haven't been talking about one player that's been really struggling for Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez. We need to talk about him.
Well, he's the one.
And after him, we're going to talk about your boy Garnacho.
Hey, we'll leave him for last.
I was going to ask about that.
Enzo Fernandez, he looks tired. He looks gassed, man. He's making tired decisions. That pass, we would have never seen something like that before from Enzo Fernandez. He's a captain of the team. He's one of the captains of the team. He was a ghost against Bayern Munich. Didn't recognize he was even on the team sheet. He was poor against Brentford. There's something that's going to evolve with him, and I think we're seeing the byproduct of a Chelsea side that a player like Enzo Fernandez is struggling because of the Club World Cup. He was used in much of the games, and I would not have started him. I know the injury to Cole Palmer, they have some injuries in the midfield. This was not the right match for an Enzo Fernandez. And late on in the match, when he was off, then Chelsea really asserted that arrogance and that confidence. But I'm worried about a player like Enzo Fernandez because every week he's playing matches now, and the performances aren't there.
I would say, yeah, no.
Enzo Fernandez, you don't have concerns.
Let me get the small violin out for you, right? Let's look at Chelsea's squad and the luxury of players that they have. Don't play him. I have no sympathy whatsoever. You've got a job to do. If he's tired, manager Maresca should see that, not play him, start someone else.
But Nige, he's not. That's my thing. The manager's not seeing it.
That's not my job. That's not my job.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's a big problem for Chelsea. Your job as a manager is to manage the rotation of a squad. It's manage the egos and do all that, but there's a mismanagement of the minutes of a player like Enzo Fernandez, and that's why we're witnessing Chelsea just not start whatsoever in a match like this. Yes, the group has to show up, but I look at a player, that's your leader on the pitch, and he's making decisions like that. If I'm the manager at halftime, hook him. Why are you not hooking him at half? If you're Maresca, that's a big issue for me.
I mean, I think this is a decision that the manager has to make. But for me, I think that it's a lot more credit, more so to Lincoln than it is to Chelsea, because they competed. And this is what we talk about. We always say, nothing changes. The foundation of football does not change. When you are a lower league or a small side and you're competing against the big boys, you've got dreams and ambitions of getting to the highest level, you cannot show them respect. You've got to make them earn that respect, and that respect is competing. Yes, you might not be as good as football players them technically or anything like that, but one thing you can do is be an absolute pest in their face, closing them down, making them work for it, and that's what Lincoln did. But again, the quality of Chelsea signed through in the end, and it wasn't an easy win for them. Michael's right, you could question some of the players, but I don't feel any sympathy for Chelsea because they have the luxury of a fantastic squad. If the manager's not picking the right players, that's down on him.
All credit to Lincoln City, I think. Jess Shreves was at the game, so he spoke to Michael Skubala, Lincoln City's head coach, after the game. So here's what he had to say.
Michael, you dared to dream. At half-time, it looked like it was on.
Yeah, I think it was, the lads were magnificent in the first half. The match plan that we prepared was, worked really, really well. We had them pinned in for 10 minutes and we looked to, probably should have scored another one. So at 1-0 in, you're going in, you're happy. But, in the end, their quality showed for about 5 minutes. A few changes by Enzo. We knew it was coming and how we'd change. But we got a bit too passive on those 5 minutes. And then, their quality shows, doesn't it?
The fact that you hit the post virtually in the first minute, was that kind of a signal of intent?
Yeah, we start like that here. The crowd are amazing. They get behind the team. It's a tough place to come. We want it be a tough place for everybody to come here. But that's how we are, fast and forward, aggressive. I thought we pressed them really, really well. We got after them. We're hard to play against.
You scored nearly 30 set-piece goals last season. Tonight, did you think another one was coming? Because it really seemed to unnerve Chelsea.
Yeah, I thought we looked good on the set pieces, whether it's our throws that we work on, whether it's our corners. I thought we looked good, but we couldn't quite get another one, if you like. We couldn't quite do it. But yeah, I thought all night we looked dangerous on our set pieces and our dead balls. We work hard on it. We work hard on the training pitch, and credit to the lads. But I'm really proud of the boys. To put in a performance like that. We've lost the game and we wanted to go through, but it was a solid performance and a good performance. It's just it's landed on the wrong side.
As you said as well, they made the substitutions. They've got so much strength in depth and the quality, but also, did you put so much effort into that first half that energy was a problem latter part of the second half?
Maybe, of course, that's natural when lads are pressing and we're trying to be aggressive and we're trying to go after them. Of course, they were tired and they brought some big hitters on, World Cup winners, and they could add some quality and depth who can get hold of the ball. But we then had another group that we brought on that I thought tilted it a little bit more in our favour. So I thought it was a great game. I thought it had everything as a game. But yeah, we're just disappointed because we just think we deserved a little bit more, especially in the first half.
Overall, what do you take from tonight?
Oh, we're proud. Yeah, we're really proud of the performance, against, world champions, against the Champions League team, chasing the Premier League down, the quality in their group, and, really credit to Enzo and respectful and brings a top team. So it's not like we've gone against their under-21s or anything like that. We've gone against some big hitters in that team, and I'm just really proud about how the lads went about their work and how they applied the tactical plan, and how good we looked in parts. But yeah, we just couldn't get that extra goal to take it into penalties.
Quite right, well played.
Thank you.
Not easy to play a game in Antarctica either. You see Jeff there?
No, he looks freezing. Looking at the momentum chart, clearly Lincoln, we need to put some respect on Lincoln.
Listen, the manager said it 100% right. Wrong side of the result, but they gave everything. Chelsea played a very strong side. Lincoln made it difficult for them. The quality of top teams will always shine in the end if you can't put the game to bed. And they didn't. And again, go back to Michael's point about Enzo Fernandez, the captain. You look at their Chelsea bench, they've got Caicedo there. They've got players there that they could. So I don't have no sympathy for them. I give all the credit to Lincoln because they put in a respectable performance against the top side full of internationals and World Cup winners. You can't ask for any more. Should be a manager, shouldn't I?
You said a lot of good things tonight. I'll say that. I'll just say, like, these games almost rarely ever go with the Premier League team going pop, 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 and then easy goals and, like, the training ground. These games are difficult to play in. Like, we've played in these games, and they're really difficult to play against, no matter who you're playing against. When you're playing against an opponent that in some ways has nothing to lose, and that means this game means so much to them, and they feel like they have their back against the wall and they're giving 100%. If you have so much more quality and you give 90% versus the 100 that they're giving, is always going to be this type of matchup as well. And I've looking at the momentum chart, listening to the manager speak, and watching, majority of the game, I think Chelsea very fortunate with the George strike to get themselves back into the game, or else it could have been a difficult one for them. And Lincoln unlucky not to score another one. Yeah.
Before the game, Grella, did you say Lincoln was the changing rooms that were in the hallway?
No, that's Oldham. It's not a place you want to go.
I was thinking maybe Chelsea didn't like those changing rooms.
Yeah,
they did not like being there.
They probably weren't great anyway. Okay, everybody, after this short break, we're going to be recapping more Carabao Cup action, so stay tuned for all of that. Between Chelsea and Lincoln.
Hannah, this game was a huge banana skin for the club world champions, and there's no question they were slipping and sliding in that first half. And in fact, it looked like Chelsea's proud nearly 30-year record of not losing to a lower league team in this competition was under serious threat. And Lincoln City, well, they declared their hand right in the first minute when they struck the post. They showed their intent, and they showed no respect whatsoever for their opponents. They went at them. They were direct, they used long throws, they launched the ball in, and it was no surprise when Rob Street actually put them 1-0 up. You couldn't say that it was against the run of play. They dominated. If anything, Lincoln City were entitled to think at half-time they should have been more than 1 goal up. You'd have to say that Sonny Bradley had decent couple of chances. I mean, he was coming to the area unmarked, and one of the biggest guys on the pitch. That seemed really unforgivable from Chelsea. So now, I don't know what Enzo Maresca said at half-time, but it certainly worked. He didn't make any substitutions, which slightly surprised me, but straight away, Tyreek George, an absolute piece of magic. What a worldly strike. Magnificent from over 20 yards. Boninotti got the second within 90 seconds. That really knocked the stuffing out of Lincoln City. Then, really, the truth is that the class between the two sides chose to really see that his class is permanent. It's as simple as that, Hannah. You would have to say that, because Chelsea just started playing the ball around, and also Lincoln City put so much effort into that first half, they just ran out of gas. But it was one of those occasions where I think both managers would say they were proud of their teams. It was a decent game, a decent watch, nearly, but not quite for Lincoln City. Back to you in the studio.
Let's talk about Garnacho, Michael, because we spoke about him before the game. Going to come to you. What did you think of his performance?
I can't take Knight seriously.
What? I'm minding my business here. Like,
no, in all seriousness, it was disappointing. It was disappointing from a player who, £40 million. You don't pay £40 million for just a poor performance from him. And he was one of the first subs that Maresca makes, takes him off the pitch, and immediately Chelsea respond. I think he brings Esteval on, and there's going to be more opportunities, because when you look at the left-hand side, that left wing position for Chelsea right now, it's up for grabs. Pedro Neto hasn't looked as good as we saw in the summer with the Club World Cup. Jamie Gittins doesn't look like a £50 million player, but you can't be performing like that against Lincoln City if you're Garnacho.
It's all learning for a manager and a coach. When you play games like this as a manager or a coach, if you get yourself into that mindset, you're looking at your players and saying, who can I trust? You already know you've got the quality, but when it comes to fighting and scrapping, and when S hits the wall, as we say, who can I trust that will go all that extra yard? And that was what it was for Enzo Maresca today. Looking at the players to see who he can trust when things don't go right, when it's a fight, when it's a scrap. Who's going to fight for me? Who's going to fight for that shirt? And that was a learning moment. I think for me, it's an opportunity missed by Garnacho. Regardless, you've got to go out there and fight and show something. Didn't see nothing from him. And great strike by the academy product, who we spoke about at the start of the game, to say he's one of the future stars to keep an eye on, Tyreek George. A
difficult game for him, These types of games, I used to hate to play in them. Honestly, I used to sometimes tell the manager, don't put me in these games. Because the games where you have to be built for those games. You have to want to compete, and there's a lot of loose balls and not a ton of football in it. Guys are awkward, coming to close you down. You don't know what they're doing. They're coming in 2s and 3s, and it's a difficult game for a guy like Garnacho, for sure.
Grella, you make me laugh. I can just imagine you saying, I'd rather sit this one out. After this short break, we're going to be looking...